whatsoever. Nice backstory for the world perhaps, but not this plot. But it turns out the old coot might actually know about dragons, and so we schlep him back to Delphine, and he tells us about Alduin's Wall, a tapestry that depicts the last fight against Alduin. It may be useful, so we schlep all the way goddamn back somewhere else to find Skyhaven Temple. Now, if any of you have played Oblivion, you'll remember Cloud Ruler Temple as this absolutely gorgeous piece of Akaviri architecture atop a mountain above Bruma, which looked just stunning on cloudless nights. You'll remember the blades going about their business in a very atmospheric and world-building way, and you'll remember it serving as the central hub from then on. Well, not Skyhaven, it's a shitty little ruin in the arse end of nowhere that you'll never come to again after this. Now, I know the blades haven't been doing so well in the last 200 years, but this temple doesn't feel like it was ever impressive. It's absolutely tiny and seems to just be wedged into some random hill. Not to mention the letdown that is Alduin's Wall. It's not a wall, it's a tiny stone slab with some admittedly intricate carving on it. So anyway, Esbern studies the wall while Delphine scowls and sucks any positive energy out of the surrounding area, and we discern that Alduin was defeated with a certain shout, a shout made by man to be used against dragon. But rather than do something useful, like, I don't know, carve the fucking words into this wall, all we've got is the pretty picture, so this officially doesn't help at all. Well, it teaches us that such a shout exists, but the Greybeards already knew about it. They could have told us if they were so fucking inclined. I mean, yeah, they don't like to get involved in the politics of man, but surely they wouldn't mind spilling the beans to me for the sake of saving the whole planet from a dragon that is going to eat the world. But whatever. So, we're back with the Greybeards. It turns out they don't know the words to this miraculous dragon shout. Did nobody write this down? However, their mysterious leader might know something, Parthenax, who sits atop the very peak of the throat of the world. So we get to the top and find Parthenax is a dragon! Oh yeah, that's right, this story has dragons in it. I almost forgot after spending so much time with Delphine and her miserable face and her useless plot threads. Parthenax is a truly entertaining character. His speech is whimsically spliced with draconic words, his deep, booming voice most impressive, and certainly not what you'd expect out of the bloke who also voices "It's me, Mario!" Sadly, even he doesn't know the words to this shout, which I guess is fair enough as these words are supposedly dragon kryptonite. He does, however, recall an Elder Scroll being used on Alduin the time before, so maybe if we find that scroll we can learn the words from it. So now we're teased with an Elder Scroll. Cool, an Elder Scroll. They're surprisingly really rare in this franchise, and we're going to get to read one? Neato. Of course, Parthenax doesn't know where it is, the Greybeards don't know where it is, Delphine and Esbern don't know where it is, but some people from the Mages College might know where it is. At this point, the game has officially become a bitch, dangling this carrot of a plot point in front of us and making us run, 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 always jerking it back a bit each time. But once we get to the college, we find the librarian has a whole load of books from which we might learn the location of the scroll. We get a lot of exposition on the nature of the scrolls that, again, while nice for the franchise, still slows this story to a screaming halt. Eventually, we find a book by someone who once read an Elder Scroll and who lives nearby, out to the north. Why we weren't directed to him in the first place, I'm not sure. So we meet Septimus Cygnus, who tells us where the scroll is. He also gives us a few quests and bobs of his own, but whatever. So we find the scroll, take it back to Parthenax, and we finally learn the legendary shout, in one of the few moments the main storyline actually lets itself be cool. So we learn Dragon Rend, and all of a sudden Alduin attacks, right on the throat of the world, and Parthenax helps us fight. This is one of the woefully few moments where the story manages to recapture the excitement of the Helgen attack in the first dragon fight, and once we're done with Alduin, he flies off, confident that we'll never be able to defeat him in the mortal realm. Parthenax suggests we capture a dragon and interrogate them regarding Alduin's whereabouts so we can finish him off. If you've been paying attention to all the background chatter, you'll know Dragon's Reach was once used to house a dragon called Numenex, so it's clear you can capture another one here as well. Unfortunately, the Jarl refuses to allow this to happen while war still ravages the land, bringing the plot to yet another screeching halt. Now I know this bit can be avoided if you've done the Civil War quests, but since we're going just by the main quest, I hereby declare this as the point where the plot absolutely shatters into pieces, never to be repaired. So we travel all around Skyrim, gathering up the political leaders, then sit around while they and the Blades, for some reason, all have a massive bitch fest with each other. Sorry, headphones. Once that's over with, Delphine demands that you kill Parthenax or the Blades will no longer help you, but what does this mean? What help could they possibly give you at this point? I didn't kill Parthenax, and I don't feel the rest of my quest was particularly difficult for not having these characters in my life. So what was the point? Was it just one final let's make these bastards as unlikable as possible thing? Either way, again, useless. Anyway, now that the tenuous peace is finally established, Jarl Balgruf lets us use Dragon Reach to capture Odahviing, which to the Blade's credit we found out about from Esbern, and we get to see how truly pointless that peace treaty shit was. See, right, Balgruf didn't want Dragon's Reach in a vulnerable position while the war was going on, lest Ulfric attack. But there are like only 3 or 4 guards stationed ready to face Odahviing, and of those only one is killed. He devoted almost none of the city's manpower to this venture, and it clearly wasn't vulnerable in the slightest. Hell, capturing dragons was the keep's entire purpose, so what was the point of that massive waste of time? Still, Odahviing agrees to drop us off near the portal to Sovngarde, but not directly on it, because I guess then we wouldn't have a final dungeon. So we fight our way through Draugr. Oh shit, my headphone fell right off there. You didn't notice that, this has been a very professional review. So we fight our way through Draugr and a dragon priest, who I'm immensely pissed off have absolutely nothing to do with the story. I mean, dragon priest? What are they? That sounds so interesting, and could make for an excellent, relatable, personal antagonist, like Manka Cameron from Oblivion. But nope. This guy is just here, with no explanation. Hell, we wouldn't even know he was a dragon priest if the loading screens didn't tell us occasionally. So, whatever. We're in Sovngarde. Time for the story to get awesome again, right? Wrong. Okay, it starts out very atmospheric. There's some brilliant music, a chilling mist everywhere, Alduin flying about, menacing in the distance, and we have to find a way to defeat him. Well, it turns out the way to defeat him is really boring. We go to some great hall where a handful of Skyrim's greatest heroes we've barely heard of are standing around. 3 who we've pretty much never heard of decide to help us fight Alduin, so we go out there, disperse the mist, and then just gang up on him and beat the shit out of him, and then he's dead. That fight was simpler and easier than the fight with Alduin on the throat of the world. It was less impressive, less epic, and just stupid. They spent the last few minutes building up the figure out how to defeat Alduin bit, and it turns out we just slap him around some more. This is basically the same plot as Knights of the Nine from Oblivion, which was a minor distraction from the real story. I mean, they've been building up Alduin's soul-eating thing. It would be logical to assume that defeating Alduin would have something to do with freeing the souls he's been devouring, and having them turn against him. Maybe Skyrim's greatest heroes could keep Alduin busy while you do something only a Dragonborn can do and pull the souls out of him or something. But no, you just beat him up. Nothing special. At this point, he's easier than an ordinary dragon, and it's such a letdown. I mean, when you kill him, he explodes spectacularly. That doesn't seem fitting, considering you either lob fireballs at him, pelt him with arrows, or smack him about a bit. What necessitates that big explosion? If there were some great ripping the souls out of him plot point, that would make more sense, but as it happens, it's just a very boring fight with an impressive yet nonsensical death scene. So we go back to the throat of the world, where the dragons are having a bit of a party. Parthenax flies off, and Odahviing says he'll be there here chillin' if you need him, and that's it. It all just falls so dull and so flat that you can't help but feel like nothing's happened at all. I mean, the main quest is so padded with useless shit while ignoring so many great story plot points and potential, it's almost depressing. Once again, I love Skyrim as an experience, I love it as a game, but taking its main story at face value, it's just poor. Also, just as a random nitpick right for the end, how come Helgen is the only place Alduin destroys? He's really, really powerful. How come he doesn't just fuck Skyrim up in a matter of days? I mean, in Oblivion, the Daedra's sort of slow assault on the world makes sense because they're still trying to break into the world. Alduin and the dragons are already here by the time the story starts. We should be doomed, but anyway, whatever. Thanks for listening. Sorry this review was so long.